Okay, so brought up that point with the please don't buy anything from me, even if I'm a fashion brand. So I don't know if you remember, but there were a few years ago, Patagonia ran a very controversial, very bold ad. And basically, it was a photo of one of their best-selling jackets, like their down jackets.
Okay.
And on top of the jacket in the middle stood, "Don't buy this jacket." And what they wanted to do is basically, get people thinking of, basically the conscious mindset, right?
Right.
What happened is too many people bought this jacket. So it actually had a controversy.
That's why.
So, and at some point in time, I also heard an interview from somebody also working at Patagonia saying, basically talking about this. So, basically saying, like, hey, we want to tell people, we want to actually try to educate people. But then everybody loved the jackets and they loved the controversy of the ad. So, everybody bought the jacket. Look, basically, too many jackets. And then the same thing happened with t-shirts. And she said that they stopped producing t-shirts in like I don't remember exactly what they said, but they had like a lot of colors available.
Okay.
And whatever reason, people thought, it's the season, we all need t-shirts, I don't know. And we're doing a good thing if we all buy these t-shirts. And then they stopped for a period of time producing the t-shirts because they sold too many.
Mm.
That is on one point in time a very good problem to have, I guess.
Yeah.
But even for like things like, and we know that they're very transparent, they're like, it's a good brand, Patagonia. They do a lot like of educational style and something. And even like something like this bold ad,
Right.
like that boosted their sales, which they would never have thought of in the first place.
Exactly.
But here's the thing, like just in general, not making any point to Patagonia, not at all. Like I really like the brand,
Yeah.
but I believe that, there is a point when a brand gets too big, and I can't tell you what too big is. I don't think it has anything to do. I wouldn't, necessarily put it on revenue because it can also be that, you have higher prices and then you reach that
Hmm.
point earlier. But I think at some point in time, there is a limit which if you go over, and I think this has a lot to do with production volumes, that if you go over, you have to at some point. So basically, if you grow and you get bigger and stuff like that, then you have to outsource. And the way with outsourcing, that's not typically per se bad or anything, but yeah, if you really want to be transparent, sustainable, ethical, and all of that, like it's a lot of responsibility and accountability
There's a
for all the other parties, right? So it
there's a
gets,
lot.
if you have this kind of big brand like Patagonia or Stella McCartney are running, like it's a big task to have this call sustainable,
Right.
like in every aspect, because that's just like a lot of work, right?
Exactly. So, um, that's right, actually, because I'm just getting started. And as for me, it is very hard to be sustainable. Even though we work with the ethical factories, sometimes we have to, just keep an eye what's going
Yeah.
on. Or even I, just keep in contact with them and, keep asking what's going on, how is it? Or, visiting to the factories virtually. So we have to keep in track. And the brands like those, with the who has a big production,
Yeah.
it's very hard. We all know that we cannot be 100% sustainable. So that's very hard, and I don't think we can reach that, even though we should. Maybe someday, but as long we're doing our work, as long we're, doing our responsibility, fulfilling that, so that's good.
I
So,
think, to be
mhm.
honest, I would even add a point, sorry, that, I think there's no point in, okay, here's a controversial statement for me.
Hmm.
I think there is no point in being 100% sustainable. I'm not even sure if you can be that. I'm not even sure if you can. To me, it's more like sustainability is for me not, it's a concept for me, which I try to align with along the process.
Hmm.
Okay. And also the way the world changes, you changes, your habit changes, you get older, things are getting more valuable or less valuable to you. So like all of these life changes, they might need you to adapt also to a more sustainable lifestyle or whatever that will mean, by the way, in the future, right?
Right.
Because we have tech we can use, and maybe we get more sustainable in a lifestyle change we don't know yet of in
Mm.
5 years also from now, right? Because it
Right.
is so much change with AI and so on and so forth. It gets so fast, by the way. So for me, it's more like, there is no point in being like 100% sustainable right now. It's more like, like along the process, make it as sustainable as possible, like for everybody to join this conversation and put our
Exactly.
minds together. But
Right.
because this, then you can, I think for me, like this, you can have the biggest impact
Mm.
to like all of our lives.
Right.
So I wouldn't, I've never been somebody who is like, was trying to be perfect or like aiming for perfection because I think perfection is I'm not even sure what it is, but I'm very sure of the fact that, first of all, I think it's going to be very boring.
Okay.
You're not into like you always have to stand out for something. They have a concept that here's the thing. So you have something which works, right?
Right.
Clothes or something. And at some point in time, somebody said like, "Oh, we can have, nylon or whatever, plastic, basically plastic, and our margin is higher. So we reinvent the wheel, right?" So now we're saying, nylon is all good and stuff, and it's very for longevity, of course, right? Our polyester friends.
Mm.
But, the thing is here now, we have to reinvent the wheel again because the way we invented it for, mm, for capitalist reasons, because just the margin up just higher and it's very cheap, right? So now we're going back to how can we make a Lululemon pants, but and sell it for maybe the same as what we sell it now. I don't know what it costs, like $100 or something like that, but with less wasteful impact to the planet, right?
Exactly. No, I totally agree with you, Easy. The way you explained it is so beautiful. And say that's the
It's
same meaning.
awesome.
You actually caught my words. That's the same
Yeah.
thing I wanted to say and convey the
Okay.
message. So that's actually wonderful. And that's the thing. That's a mindset we should have at least when we are in this industry
Yeah.
we're
Yeah.
making. That's why, the manufacturer, even the brands, sourcing new technologies where, we can track or at least get better than before. So this is a thing that, we're consciously going up by the time, and we'll be getting better, not perfect, but we'll be getting better a lot by the time. So I
Yeah.
believe that's a way to go with and at least be conscious whatever we're doing. Right.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Exactly. So what I have a question. So, what is the
Yeah.
one thing that you wish people knew about the ethical production?
The
It came up
production,
very exactly,
specifically
ethical production.
production.
Exactly.
So first of all, I would like for people to understand that whatever they're wearing,
Hmm.
it's not made by robots. And this would help, I think, a lot, right?
Right.
As you know, if you put, I think there were a couple of these campaigns already. I think this is something which never gets old, but if brands, so here we go again. We had just had Fashion Revolution Week. So the most important and most stated sentence, I guess, or question would be, who made your clothes? I made your clothes, right? With this paper, what we usually have. I don't have it here, I'm sorry. But so let's not forget, so we're all humans, we all love stories and we all connect the best with other human beings. And no AI, no whatever tech solution will ever change that because that's the way we build, right? And we
Right.
thrive, by the way, if we want it or not, sometimes we have a little bit too much of it, but we thrive with social interaction, right?
Exactly.
And we get that the best and the most authentic, I'm not saying AI is not good for that, but the most authentic version of it, we get it from a different human being.
Exactly.
So advertising, the final product, let's say any type of clothes, with like people who say like this is made by Leon from Belgium in da da da, or like in Bangladesh or whatever have you, right? So um this connects. And these connections should never be like, understated. And whenever you have a connection with somebody, especially if you've never met that person, because how is the possibility that I would know the person who's working in Bangladesh, maybe doing a suit or like pants or whatever for Hugo Boss, a German fashion brand, right? How would I know that? So that's not. And that's, I guess, a pretty bold statement to make, but it's kind of like we should, and that's the thing which will take a little bit of time, but that's what we're here for, right? For
Right.
the messaging. For people to understand that this human connection, like all of these people who are working on making clothes, that's an asset for any brand.
Right.
Whatever you might, you may, if we go to the luxury space, then everybody's talking about, even like in sustainable fashion, what I really like about it, it's like the craftsmanship, like so going back to the roots, like the heritage, like the dedication to what you see sometimes, how things are made, how things are
Right.
sewn. So, and if fashion would treat, or brands in general, treat their employees, so the really ones who are like really sewing the garments as an asset, we wouldn't even have this conversation, right? We
That's
wouldn't need to have it because they're like, I don't know, they're seen like as, I guess, sometimes service which you buy in, and if you don't do it, I don't do it, somebody else will do it,
mm-hmm.
right? But on this whole brand, like they have so much power, basically, right? And if you think about ethical production, then I just coming back to my very famous example of Inditex, Zara. Um, I I want Zara to pay, or Inditex is it. I want them to pay living wages as the standard in every country where they produce, right?
Exactly.
So I am not saying don't ever produce in Bangladesh. I'm not saying that. Like I want people to have their jobs, like I want them to thrive. I'm just saying pay living wage. And as we both know, living wage is at least double the amount of minimum wage. And the minimum wage over there, it's just neglectable. I'm sorry to say, but it's not minimum wage. You cannot have a decent living there.
Exactly.
And that's a problem,
Exactly.
right?
First of all, we're not asking much. We're just asking them to pay the minimum wage. I mean, the minimal,
Minimum,
minimum wage, first of all, minimum wage to, so they can live. And now the second point, the very good point you actually just said by yourself, which is that even the minimum wage, you cannot sustain your life over there.
yeah.
Because I'm from that country. I mean, I'm from Pakistan, but I know that those
Yes.
countries, their minimum wage is nothing. The amount of, prices goes up. Even, in our countries like US and Germany, I believe it's the same. Prices goes up like in the years and in the months. Over there, the prices fluctuate every day. So because there are no rules and regulation, even by the government, I'm sorry. So it's the thing, they cannot sustain even with the minimum wage, and they're not even getting that. So
Mm.
we can just imagine how hard it is actually to, sustain in the place like that and with this amount of money. And it's very hard for me to imagine. I have actually been there in that situation, so I know. So
Okay.
it's very hard.
Mhm.
Exactly.
So I believe you asked me that question because you had something specific in mind. So what did you have in mind before you asked me that question? What did I maybe miss or forget?
No, I didn't miss. I was just, thinking about because I believe the sustainability and ethical production is the two different things. Because
Hmm.
sustainability is related to our planet because we should be
Hmm.
using,
Hmm.
all the natural fabrics or whatever the material we're using so we can help the planet. And the
Yeah.
ethical thing, I believe it's for the people, for the human beings like us to
Yes.
support them. So that was, I just wanted to be clearing and getting your thoughts on this. Actually, it's told me before your, but I just wanted to be, specific about it. So that's why I
Yeah.
asked.
Yeah, you're right. So not every brand who's ethical is
Mm.
sustainable,
Eh,
right?
yeah,
The other way around. So these are two different concepts. I believe they're equally important, right?
exactly.
So because there will always be a thing, if somebody, especially with people who I guess it's good questioning everything, but I
Mhm.
guess if you have a sustainable, so here's the thing, right? There is no one definition of sustainability. Not
Right.
even the United Nations have one, right? So there are so many, we have 17 development goals, but and they're all very important. Who can say like it's more important to have like access to water than going to school? I mean, that's like, I don't know, like I guess I would say the water because otherwise you can't live. But you know what I mean? Like they're all like really important and they all play into one goal, right? And so if a brand is sustainable, I still think that if a brand is sustainable in like one or two of these categories, and for example, employs, I don't know, like women, what I don't know, women in Africa who are like and like capturing their like local heritage and craftsmanship and so on. This should be stated, right? So it's not normal these days. So that's one part you can be unsustainable, and if they're paid at least a living wage, then this is great too, right? So, but I guess yeah, so it's because there is not like this one, and that's the thing for me. Like there is not this one definition. I don't think for me, I don't need one definition for it. Like for me, as I said, like it's a concept, it's a way of living, having this conscious mindset and always thinking about, especially like not only about yourself, right? So it's nice if I have something I can wear that I feel myself good in it when I wear it, but it's actually even better if I know that, this comes from a brand which aligns with my mission and also my values, my personal values. Like this is unmet. Like that's a very good feeling. And a really good example is also when you, at least for me, when I shop like vintage, and usually when I go like vintage shopping, I'm not really consciously going shopping. It's more like I stumble into stuff. And the best finds I've ever had in my life was really like I didn't know the shop. I was just randomly going somewhere. I didn't need anything, and I found something so cool. Like
Wow.
really, it's always kind of like the same story.
Mhm.
And here's the point that, I find something which is new to me. So technically, the thing is not new, right? Because somebody else, or maybe even different persons before me owned it. But here's the thing, like to me, the excitement is the same because it is new to me as if I would be shopping and going for a brand new item. Like for me, it's the same.
Right.
But I think the way people are these days, I think I'm not sure raised, or like they're very used to whenever you have something to celebrate, it's like very normal for people that they go shopping. So I also like to shop, but I also grew up with a little bit of different mindset. So I remember very vividly, and that's like not so long ago, by the way, that, whenever you have like, I don't know, good grades in high school or something like that, you would come back and you would say like, my mom would say like, okay, let's go out and get an ice cream, right? A really big ice cream. So we would do that. I think these days, like it's very normal that people would jump always into like, what do we buy? Like, and I think we've lost the sense of like, why does it always have to be that you buy something, right? And I'm never against if you need it, like buy it, like go for it. I don't care, like really do it. But like, there is a human psychology behind that. If there's a reward, it has the same effect on kind of like your emotions.
Right.
And so what did we miss? Like why does everybody has to buy everything, right? You can go
Right.
out and say like I'm going for a nice dinner. You treat yourself. Like I also sometimes do that. When I did something good and I'm very happy and I was like efficient in my work day or something good happened, like I'm going for an ice cream. Like I don't need my mom nowadays is always here, of course, but like I still do that. And I think it's kind of like important to spend also time with yourself and that you understand, like your brain understands. It's like the same if I buy a new jeans or I find a used jeans, which is winted, or I go and get an ice cream. Like it's the same, it's literally the same effect. I guess a lot of
Right.
people agree with me, but there is a point in like it's about a reward system, right? And you can break this reward system and say like I do something else. I'm not going to spend I don't know, 100 euros on something new, what I might want to wear once or twice, or I don't know, right?
Yeah.
I maybe just do something else. I maybe go for a walk and get an ice cream, something like that, right?
Exactly. That is how you train your brain, you know? It depends.
Yeah,
If you just feel like if you wanted to go outside, that would be actually a better option. If you just go
I
out and
think so
buy an ice
too.
cream and have a walk with your loved ones, even your mother, father, spouse, or children, whoever is that. So that, first of all, a quality time with your family. And so second of all, you walk in the nature, you see and you interact with people, and that's good for your soul and good for your
Yeah.
mind and good for everything, you know?
To be
And
honest, I
yeah,
actually enjoy doing that also by my own because if I really have a day like where I have like a lot of calls or anything, or just worked a lot, like I just really enjoy sitting or walking outside and not staring on the screen. Like, don't take it too personal, but
right.
like it's just like, I sometimes I guess that's also because I am the only child my parents had, but
Oh,
like I'm fine with being alone. Like
okay.
it's a part of it because most the big part of my day is with other people and I love that. But as you know, like it gets you energy. Like this also gets me energy talking to you, but because it also like my brain wanders and it's like everywhere. But it's also like it takes also and sometimes you're just exhausted, but in a good way, in a good way. And I
Right,
just
right.
enjoy sometimes doing just stuff by my own. And
Hmm.
I feel like that I recharge.
I see.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's the thing, you know, when we go out in nature, it calms our brain and give us a time to think about life or, whatever things is going or you
Yeah.
can relax.
Yeah.
Because at this time in the 21st century, it is very hard to be, calm your mind. Even I believe even you do the meditation, it is still not
Yeah, I'm not so good at
convenient.
this, but I want to get into that. I want to get into that. But I've heard very good things about it actually. That you are really, if you do that like every day, like for 5 minutes or 10 minutes, that you're actually super good at remembering stuff and you're more calm and you're more at ease. I've
Yeah,
heard that. Yeah.
exactly. So because I try to promote actually every aspect of sustainability about living. It not just, till the clothes we wear,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
always the lifestyle we have.
Well, that's the best of it, right? So first of
Exactly.
all, what you just said is like the definition of authenticity. Now go on. I didn't want to
Yeah,
interrupt you, but
no.
that's just go.
That's the thing that I think of because we should be first of all be kind to everyone. I heard this quote that be kind to everyone because we don't know what they're going through.
Right.
So
Right.
that's the thing. Just be kind, be, humanity first. Think about the people. Try to help them. If you cannot help them, just try to stay away. Don't make it too complicated. And you just try to, adopt the healthy living and the sustainable living in your life. So half of our problems will be gone because there are no problems. We're just overthinking. We don't
Yeah.
think about that. We think that it is a problem, but most of the time we're just overthinking.
Yeah.
So we should, try to, that's, actually I moved to another topic about the mental health, but I think
Yeah.
this is the most important thing. It's not just about clothes, but it is because sometimes our environment make us, right?
Well, it is. And so I'll let you speak and then I'll tell you why this is not a different topic.
Okay, yes. Yeah, I'm very interested to know that. Okay, yeah. We are the product of our environment wherever we live in.
Yeah. Yeah.
So people who are working in the coal mine
Yeah.
having diseases in their body, even though they don't eat coal. But why they're having that, you know?
Yeah.
People who are living in slums in the poor countries like Africa or over there, they're having the problems, the health issues. Why? Because of their environment. They're
Yeah.
not clean or it's chemicals or whatever is going on over there or they're drinking something which is not good. The factories are pouring their chemicals into the water. So yeah, that's the thing. And especially that's one of the main key things is about the clothes too, because that's the environment around your body. I mean, it's everything,
Yes.
but this is the closest thing because, as you said, we cannot be naked. As long that would be at first. I actually read a bio
We
of
would have other problems then, man.
exactly. I read a bio of one of the brand. It says being naked is the first sustainable choice, and we're second. So I found that.
Oh, whose brand is that? That's so
I,
cool.
I believe that was I'm not too sure, maybe Reformation, but I think it's their bio where it says that
I'll
being
check that.
naked is the first choice and we are second. And I found that I was like, oh my God, they're
That's very good.
exactly. So that makes sense actually. So, so at least wear the clothes that are sustainably made. So there's no chemical, like like you told me the story earlier. So just try to be sustainable, and this is the best thing you can help your body, your mind, and the people around you. So yeah, this is the thing. Now I wanted to hear you.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
okay, so the mental health thing is very, very much connected to the way we dress because that's kind of like the way it influences directly the way we feel, right?
Okay.
So, and then we also have this thing. So, what you said, I found this very good. Actually, our clothes is our like first environment because of kind of like it's around us, right? That's the
Mhm.
thing.
Right.
So, and I've always wondered, like all these, like, let's say, I can break my life also into like, let's say, like how do we even call that? Like the first part is like, a ex-banker who's like very interested in fashion but didn't really know what to do like professionally with it and just
Yeah.
went into it again. So in that one point in time, like 2 years ago, I decided like, I need a break and I need like to think of how can I combine what I know about fashion, my hobby, with something I'm very, very passionate about, which is sustainability. So here I am. And then in this second part, like last 2 years, especially like going through a lot of wow moments, wow in the sense like negative wows, like thinking about, like the supply chain transparency, which is kind of like not there, and like the fashion industry, like whoever wants to make clothes, they can kind of like do whatever the way they want to. Like these kind of wows are not so good wows. But then there are also, wows, astonishing wows, like something like when I learned that, the way how clothes are produced and I've really never had this part I've never really thought of. Like, my mom telling me you have to wash it. Like it's kind of like it's in my brain. Like I don't even think about like if I buy something, I wash it, right?
Hmm.
But I deep dived into what kind of chemicals, like how do we produce, coming back to your ethical production question, how do we produce clothes and how much toxicity we have in these clothes, right? All these toxic chemicals. And that basically I don't remember the study, but basically, I will have a look if I find it again. But it was a study saying that, a few years ago, whatever kind of clothes you have, we already say that you wear it as long as best, right? The Vivienne Westwood style, right? But
Right.
then it doesn't really, also it does hold mostly, and I was very surprised by that, for clothes, for gym clothes, for sports clothes. I don't know if you know that, most probably you know, but like I was devastated. They are like fatale, or I don't know how to pronounce it. Like they're like really bad chemicals,
Okay.
which is like the level is like 200 times higher. 200 times, it's not twice. It's like
Wow.
200 times. They made a study of basically buying Lululemon leggings and Nike and Adidas, and it was all shit, right? Sorry to say that, but it was all not good. But so basically, all these levels were like, and the kind of way, I think it has something to do with the nylon or the plastic, but it's really really complicated to get this out by just washing it once or twice. So apparently you should have to wash your gym clothes 10 times. And you actually should never buy new gym clothes because it's just really bad. And here's the thing. When you sweat, I'm sticking with this example because I think to me it was really eye-opening. So especially when you're in the gym, you sweat. So let's leave the fact aside that whenever you put plastic clothes on,
Hmm.
you stink. No matter what you want to tell me, everybody stinks.
I
Okay,
believe
so
you.
let's
Yes.
but let's be very gracious,
Yeah.
right? And leave this fact aside. So what I told you about now about these toxic chemicals and all of that stuff, whenever you sweat, as you and me know it when we go and lie at the beach somewhere and tan, then your skin opens up a bit, right? And we're all a little bit bigger because, we're not cold, right? So
Exactly.
whatever you put on your skin is going in your skin. Now, coming back to the plastic clothes we wear, it's kind of like a garbage bag, right? And then you sweat in the garbage bag, and all of what's in that, of course, goes into your skin. So now we are here having like, what is that? Like 80% of skin is covering our body, or maybe it's even more. I'm sorry, I don't know. Maybe I guess it's even more. But so here's the thing. How can we be even surprised if we have skin irritations? How can we even, sorry, I'm making up the really big thing here, but
Oh,
like so here's the thing, especially I think for women. So we have the beauty industry telling us, and I love my creams and I'm very interested in all of that. I'm also very interested in like sustainable stuff there. But here's the
okay.
thing. So you have to have good creams for, I don't know, we have a night cream, we have an eye cream, I don't know, spend a lot of money on this, right? And I love to do that because I love to try out these things.
Maybe if I
But
use those, I'll be beautiful like you.
wait, I'm spending so much money. Like the average woman spends like a lot of money for just like all these kind of creams, right? And when you're 30, you have to have like an anti-age cream, an anti-wrinkle cream, and then whatever. So you have like hundreds of dollars what you spend during a month. But then we put on our pants in the gym. And all of so we spent like so many $100s on this part, right? Okay, it's our face. I'm not saying that we shouldn't. But then it's like we put on whatever kind of toxic chemical on the rest. How can we be okay with that? And how can we be okay with, I don't know where the skin irritation is coming from. I don't know. It's just itching now, out of the blue.
Exactly.
Seriously,
So
I
because
don't, nobody's thinking about this. Like, why?
yeah,
Why is
exactly.
this okay? I don't know. Like, and this sports stuff, really, I don't know. Like, I don't know who I saw this like in a documentary or something, and and then I researched it a little bit, and I didn't know that this is basically the worst part of clothing, which you have the highest level of toxic chemicals in, and I really didn't know.
Right.
So. And then I found, not making any ads here, of course, but I found like actually also during Fashion Revolution Week, there was a guy who I knew like a year ago, 2 years ago now, but basically wanted to explain the concept of C-cell.
Okay.
I've He held like, a talk and he founded a firm on basically just producing gym clothes with C-cell. And
Okay.
here are two things which I found really, really so it would be so nice if Nike and Adidas and all of the above mentioned people and brands would take this up because C-cell is basically something if you sweat and I have a t-shirt from them and it's really good. So basically their slogan should be, I don't know why it isn't, you can you can be 3 hours in the gym and sweat, you will never stink. Like you won't. Like I tested it, I have it, like I love it. You never stink. So basically, C-cell is an odor absorbent thing. So it basically takes the stink and it puts it away. This is really cool. So
I,
whatever, you can run a marathon and you won't stink.
oh
And
wow.
it
I
really
didn't
is
know
like
about that.
it works. And the other thing is with C-cell is that if it hydrates your skin. So because of the C cell, whatever positive things it has, the way it grows and everything, it gives back your skin some hydration. So
Hmm.
whilst you sweat, you get hydrated.
Wow.
So, and if brands like, really big brands, and we would need big brands to like really scale this, of course, right? So it's important to have big brands to make it a point. But I guess the very first point would be that, people would demand it, right? So
Right. Right.
brands always go like per demand. But, I think most of the people, like I would even say like 99% of the people wouldn't even know what I just told you, right? So I was
I
very
didn't know
surprised.
about that.
Yeah, I didn't know. But here's the thing, right? So the problem, or let's not the problem, like the challenge is, so we cannot do it without like the really big brands picking this up too, right?
Right.
Like the guy I mentioned was just like, it's Vida Sport, it's from Frankfurt, it's a very small firm. But think about, so how can we make Adidas and Nike say like, okay, at least we're gonna do a clothing line made out of C-cell, but we kind of like have to do it in a way that they're really interested in giving up. I'm saying things because I don't know. I don't know, maybe 40% of their margin for when they do it with plastic, right?
Hmm.
Because I don't know, if you sell, and again, I'm saying things, a $100 leggings and you're producing that for $5, right? I don't think it's more. Maybe, okay, let's be very
Exactly.
gracious, right? If you do it in C-cell, I guess you would have to do so you have some research, analysis costs, and all of this around. And even if you could do it on scale, I would think that, they still would have a higher margin, but it would of course be lower than plastic because how low can you can't go lower than plastic, right?
Right.
But if you had that in a very big brand, I mean, they can scale it. That's not the point, right? But of course, I mean, would have to have demand and like ask for these things to happen, right? This is how you can think about if Adidas would do it, maybe Nike would do one collection, conscious collection, I don't know, something like that, right? But if people understood that this would actually be giving them something positive back when they go to the gym and they hydrate their skin without even putting lotion on it, and they wouldn't, I mean, how cool is that? Think about you'd have like you would see somebody and have a date or you would be flirting, I would be completely stressed after my workout thinking like, oh my God, do I stink? I would not talk to the guy, right? Think about this, right? And you would be like, oh, it's fine. I can just chat with him here and have a coffee because you don't stink. That would
Exactly.
be awesome. I think it's a game changer. But
Right.
anyways, I'm
Exactly.
talking, drifting.
So, I have three questions actually. Let me
Yeah,
ask you, but before that, I have 2 minutes left for the Zoom. Let me
yeah,
just buy it. I think our conversation go a little longer. Just give me 1 second, okay? Please.
yeah.
Thank you.
I kind of like knew this would happen.
No worries. Continue payment, credit card. Okay. Good.
I think I have already another idea for another session.
Oh wow. See, that's how the idea comes up.
I think so. I think this is just one, but I think I will have more, I guess.
Yeah, let me just grab my card.
Yeah,
Oops.
you have the clock ticking.
Yeah,
Oh.
it's like
Okay.
1 minute 22 seconds. Just give me one.
Oh my God.
Oh, there 2 5. I
I think
don't
you're gonna make
do
it.
not cut you off while you're doing that.
Yeah,
So
that's okay.
I was just waiting for you. Expiration. 10 2008. Billing for one.
Bye.
One moment.
Yeah.
Okay, the meeting is now has unlimited minutes.
Oh, I see it too.
You see that too?
Yes, I saw it.
Perfect.
Cool.
Okay, we're happy now.
Yes.
Okay.
So you said you had three questions.
Okay. I have three questions, and I can only remember two by now.
Great.
So yeah, first of all, how do you spell C-cell?
C-cell, like the C, S-E-A,
It's
then the C-E-L-L,
C.
C-cell.
Oh, C-cell. Okay,
Yes,
I
sorry.
got you.
What
Okay.
did I say? Was it too German?
No, no, no. I
No.
got C. I got C, but I got cell. S-A-L.
Ah,
I was like,
yes.
so cell. Okay, so the second, actually not a question, but it's something I wanted to say because you said it definitely gonna be a little higher in the price point, whereas if we compare it to the polyester. But I believe they are too focused to make the profits that they don't want to spend. That's,
Of
I
course.
think, the biggest thing of fast fashion. But
Yes.
but when I see they do the overproduction at the end of the year, they're burning millions of garments. And at that
Oh my
time,
God.
I think,
Yeah.
and
Yes.
at that time, I think about where's the money goes. You spend money to make that. Now you're in profit. You don't need that. You just burn it out, and harming the planet
Yeah. So
again.
that's a very good, very sad point you're mentioning.
Yeah.
So basically, the short
This makes
answer
sense
is
to me, actually. Of course, at the business, I'm sorry, I'm cutting you off.
no, 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 no.
At the
Go ahead.
business point of view, sometimes I am able to understand that you don't want it to, to keep the
You
what
don't want it to dilute.
Exactly. You don't want to be, just keep it limited edition or whatever you call it. I don't get the word. To keep that, you burn the clothes, but it doesn't make sense a lot. Then why you're doing the overproduction? Just keep it as low, and whatever you're making, just try to make it sustainable and ethical.
Because so here's the thing. When you have and here also by the way, yeah, so you get my opinion, but you get it from somebody who has never worked in a fashion brand, right? So this is just for me, maybe how I think how the industry runs, right? From what I know. Whenever you have a new clothing line or let's say a project
Mm-hmm.
and you're Zara or whomever, they're basically somebody who can like ramp up production very quickly, and we're talking about 1,000, like millions of clothes, right?
Right.
You kind of like calculate from the way what you're producing of, for example, there are like basic, how much part of the collection is being basic, so meaning which you can still have for a longer time. Nobody would notice that this is not like really the collection. Then there are pieces who are made like with sequins on it or whatever, there's something like more vibey, more for a specific price point also maybe, and for a specific like evening or like occasion or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But then at the end of the day, if I am the person who wants to get through with this project, I would simply think about not really of I guess you have to say like on per product volumes, you deduct, and I'm saying something, this is something I don't know,
Mm-hmm.
you always price in, you don't sell 15% or maybe 20%. You price it in when you produce it
Mm.
to
Makes
be on the safe side,
Yeah.
because then you can say, and here's the point from the point of like revenues on, you look at economies of scale, right? If you lower the base, if you say you're not producing 1,000 but 500 to be ethical and more on, maybe the 20% people, maybe what we can be very sure that, the 20% can be not reached. I'm pretty sure they have like, different kind of levels. They would say like 10% is never going to sell, right? It's going to be over. But then maybe 20% is going to be at a 50% chance that you won't sell it. I think you have different kind of probabilities for different kind of stages.
Right.
And then you would say like, you could technically say we produce less, but then if you have in the denominator, if I'm right that in English, you have a lower base because the lower quantity of pieces you produce,
Mm-hmm.
then you have not as good as economies of scale as if you ramp it up, of course. And I think that's why you would always go for the option. If I was the one who wanted, convince my boss to produce this, then I would always say, like, we are so big as a company, we can afford burning 10%. This is the way you would present. That's the way I would present it, I guess.
Right.
If I had these kind of aims, if I would be working this kind of I think this is the kind of way that sometimes people who do this job and who actually say they like it and they like the fashion industry and everything, but that's the could be one point when they say like, yeah, but it's very wasteful because they know it's just wrong, right?
Exactly. That's the
But
facts.
I think is whenever you start a project or a collection or a collaboration or something, I think this is priced in from the beginning.
Hmm.
Then you only argue about if in what range you're ending up at the end of the day. So is it only the 10%? Then you maybe, I don't know, reached your 100% goal. If it's the 20%, it's, I don't know, you reached maybe 80% of your goal or something like that. I'm saying something, I don't know. But I think it's something like that. So basically, you're as big as that you can afford to destroy products.
Right.
That's a sad way of putting it, but I think it's one of the true ways of putting it.
Exactly. Can you, Easy, I'm so sorry. Can we take a 5 minutes break? I have to reply
Sure.
some of the messages. Keep
Yep,
bothering me. Yeah, you can have some water or some stretch if you want. Let me
that's okay.
let me just see. Okay.
Who's writing to you?
Oh, it's from from the school.
Okay. Yeah, give me a minute. I'll just go down. I'll come back, yeah?
Yeah, yeah, sure, sure. Take your time.
Okay.
Not in a rush.
Yeah, hi.
Ah, yes. One more minute, please. Good, you feel better?
I feel good.
It's at
Yeah,
over the time right now, half an hour about, but I
I'm
hope
fine. I
about
have time.
okay.
I'm good.
Thank you. It's getting better by the time, Once you get
Yeah,
in,
I know, right?
it's very good.
I
Uh,
brought something what I also wanted to show you, but take your time.
okay, very good. Right here. And I can do this too. Yeah, I'm drinking the water from the plastic bottle, but
Hmm.
we do recycled it. I have a big bag over there. It's my father's, my
Okay.
he every time every weekend actually. Today is the day he gonna be going for the recycling.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
God, we could also talk about recycling, but that's also going to be like a depressing one. But it is an important topic. Just realized it.
Oh
I
yeah.
think it's good at some point in time, but it's a big one.
Exactly. I mentioned that, but we
Mm.
didn't talk about that much. But
Okay,
yeah.
I'll write it down. I'll note it. Okay, I'll note down recycling for one session.
Yes. Have them all. I believe now I feel better.
Good. So
And
this is what I bought too. You see it?
oh wow.
It's a bag. It's a
Yeah.
crossbody,
Yeah.
and it's made by hand
Oh.
from a person who is called, also she's called Anke. I've never met her before, but she's basically designing this kind of cloth. So
Mhm.
she's doing that. She's
That's
not buying it. She's
very
doing all of that.
style that she
It's
made.
like a big crossbody bag.
Yeah, exactly.
Of course, it had to come because of the sausage dogs.
Yeah. Okay, so
Alongside with my friend.
oh,
And now you're thinking, who is this person? I don't want to make a
that's actually
podcast
so
with her.
cute. Both the things that you bought, did you buy anything else or that's it?
Yeah, I bought something else, but do you want to see it? I have to go downstairs with that.
I'm not gonna bother you for that, but the
Yeah.
thing just show me
I don't know if that's correct to say in English, bronze. How do you say bronze?
once
Bronze? Is that correct?
the shrimp or the sea one.
No. Okay, wait a second.
I'm sorry, my English is not too good to force
I'm sorry, because
that I'm
when
learning.
I usually say something to my
Yeah,
boyfriend,
English.
usually American and German, he understands. But then sometimes I think, oh, it's the correct word, and it's completely not.
But your English is very good. I believe you told me the last time, but I'm sorry I couldn't remember how you learned. I mean, how you get it so good. At least you're so bad.
So by the way, I was talking about bronze. Bronze. Yes. Is
Okay.
that
No,
is
I don't
that correctly
know.
a bronze, like basically sculptures made out of bronze.
Okay. I'll search.
Bronze. Bronze?
Okay,
Bronze?
that's a gold medal thing.
Yes, yes, yes. And basically, so I bought two sculptures from a brand which is from, so the guy seemed to be speaking French, but now as I think of it, makes sense because so basically handcrafted from women in Burkina Faso, and I think in Burkina Faso they talk French. If I think
Mhm.
about it, and
Yes.
that's why it makes sense. Yeah. So basically, I bought two sculptures there. Yeah.
Wow.
My English, so I mean, we usually have in Germany at some point in time, you have, by the way, I love languages. So I'm really good at, with French and Spanish. So that
You can
never
speak
learned
Spanish?
Italian though. Huh?
Can speak Spanish?
Yeah, I am. So I understand more than I can say because, like French, I lived in Paris for a year, so that's always easier for me. But I never lived somewhere in Spain. So it's, if I go there, I understand a lot, but like the grammar is like not there, like because I don't have anybody to talk to.
If I say something in Spanish, you're gonna understand that.
I guess.
Okay.
Yes.
So I'll say everything that I know in Spanish. Okay.
Ah,
So
yeah, okay.
Hola, ¿cómo estás? Muy bien.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah. Ah, so that's it?
that's
Oh,
it.
I thought it was coming like some complicated thing. Oh my goodness. No, this I can answer. So Isabel, estoy muy bueno, y tú. So that's all fine.
No, I'm actually very interested to learn Spanish. I
Ah,
actually should
good.
be doing that instead of going for the nursing course.
Yes.
But yeah, I'll be learning that, of course. I
But
find it
do you like learning language? Like, do you like doing
so
that?
so there's the thing. I born in Pakistan where they speak their local and some of the English. Then I moved to
Right.
a country in Thailand, you know that. and they
Yes.
have their own language. And when I was
Yes.
in Thailand, I was just hoping when I go to the US, at least I go somewhere where they speak English, first of all, so I don't have to learn a new language. And second of all, there was a chances that to move to Canada, and when I heard that people over there speak French, most
I ain't
oh,
going
oh my God, oh my God. I spent 10 years here to learn the language and then in and thankfully
That's so funny.
yes. And now here everybody speaks Spanish.
Ja, okay, ja, es stimmt.
So but now I'm getting interested to learn about Spanish.
Yeah. You know,
So
my boyfriend would say he also learned Spanish. The only sentence he can remember is Soy el capitán Pinca Loca. And I don't know why he remembered that shitty
what's that?
sentence.
What does that mean?
El capitán is the captain.
Okay.
Pinca Loca. Loca is if you're weird, mad. You're a crazy person. I don't he
That's
learns Spanish, but that's the only thing he remembers.
that's a must boy thing that he remembers. Yeah. Crazy captain.
Yes. Yes, the crazy captain. I don't know.
Right. So yeah, but now I'm gonna be, looking forward to learn Spanish, and I believe and I hope this
Nice language.
the
Yeah.
last language I'm gonna learn.
Yeah.
I'm
Okay.
very interested. So yeah, now get to the point. So I was just making a story. So now
Yeah.
get to the point. So I'm interested. I'm not saying that I'm not or I'm totally against. I just, find it, very time consuming and all that, but I'm interested to learn
Yeah.
about the languages. But what more interested in to learn about the culture
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
different backgrounds. So first of all, let me tell you a little brief so you can have, or even
Mhm.
you know that, but the audience who's listening
Yes,
to has some
happily.
idea what I'm talking about, and then I'm gonna come to you. So, as I said before, I born in Pakistan. I spent half of my life there, about 9 years. Then I moved to Thailand. And I spent there about half of my life over there too, about 9, 10 years, almost 10 years. So I know about the culture of my country and the
Mhm.
values of our country and our people. I know the people and the culture and their values of Thailand too. How they live, how, what things they do, whatever the cultures they have, whatever the day they celebrate and all that. It's very similar to Chinese, but they have their own too. Very good. So I know about that. So, and now I'm in the US. So I'm learning about what's going on here too. And t sometimes it's completely messed up. Then
How?
because sometimes it is very weird, especially when you get too busy here. Especially in,
Yeah.
I heard that some of the other states are some calm places to live, but especially in New York, maybe you can, relate with me because of your boyfriend, because it
Mhm.
is a very fast-paced environment here. I would sometimes I just relate it to the fast fashion because it's not good for you for you to be this fast. But so what I was saying that I was, diversify into these culture. I know my culture, where I'm born, then into Thailand, and now I'm learning the US. So
Mhm.
I combined that and I'm actually trying to bring this culture in the brand of Zaysheen, where I can, just celebrate these, but also get some other cultures as long we, get to know the people like you from a different culture or other people, so we can, resonate that and reflect that from our the brand. So my question to you is, so now you have some idea what I'm talking about. So my question is, you live in Germany, so you know about their culture. What is the more, I would say, most German things or the German culture it is about, or the weird thing or the good things you don't find in any other cultures, and about the fashion too. So, yeah, just tell me.
Related to fashion, you mean?
Related
Culture.
to fashion and overall culture too. How you live and, just some idea or something related you wanted to share about Germans. So because
Good question. Yeah.
I'm sorry, because the people as we are outside of Germany, we see German peoples are very strict and very, like this.
Ah, what does this mean? Do
This
we always sit up straight, or what does this mean?
it means you guys are very serious. That's what
We are.
I think about it, and especially your
That's what
language.
you like about us if you do business with us. I can just
Yeah,
you.
especially your language people, make the fun of that, you're when you're talking, it feels like you're fighting. So the
Yeah,
language,
that's because I think partly of the pronunciation. German is like can be as like yeah can be di it's a hard language, so the way you pronounce it can be just hard or
okay.
harsh. It doesn't mean that we're talking about harsh things, it's just pronunciation. To be very honest, so it's not like, if you compare that like to Spanish and Italian or French, it all sounds nice even if these people fight. This is not the case in German.
Yes, yes, I heard.
So I think so. I mean, the very obvious things, which we are also, I would say, proud of, being perceived as very strict and serious and organized. So I have been raised the same way. I have usually, before I start for the plan A, a plan B, and of course for the plan B, I have a backup plan, which is called the plan C.
Okay.
So it is equally hard, to be honest, to break out of this concept if you've been raised by this, and even if it's a good thing, your kind of whole life. So it was a big, without going in too much, but it was a big thing for me to break with my very comfy and secure life I had from, studying finance, going to an asset manager, going to a bank, going to the next bank,
Okay.
and just being very comfy to break out of this cycle. Pretty, because it's simply not the way I was also raised, right? And then pursuing something, what I'm pursuing now, like based on mostly creativity driving that. And I'm doing fine because I am obviously a very creative person. But, doing that step is kind of like if you behave against what you're raised, that's kind of like no matter what it is, it's kind of a thing. It takes some time and it takes, also mind work that you're not like completely lost. I know that I'm not completely lost, but it's like it takes some time. It's a process. So there are all these good things about us, but also what I think, which is perceived not very, I'm not so sure. Like it's very mixed. If you think about sustainable fashion in Germany,
Hmm.
obviously now I know a lot of people who are working now in this space, especially also in Frankfurt, a few designers around Frankfurt and so on. And if you talk within this circle and in this bubble, they're like highly motivated, highly skilled people. Like there is only this one way forward, right? If you step out of this, and it's not, I wouldn't say it's here, I would say actually it's a niche, right? There it's really like it's small. It's a small circle of people. I would think that there is this stigma to, I feel like, sustainable, that if you're a sustainable person, you would kind of like, I'm exaggerating now, but you would have to be living in the woods. You only buy 100% biodegradable clothes, which after 1 week biodegrade and you're naked. And you would never ever go on vacation and take a plane or use electricity. So
Yes.
that's a little bit exaggerated, but there is like this thing that, you're like, I don't know, you're like nature's best friend. I don't know how to say this, right? And for me, it's like, so, and going further, this picture for me is directly connected to words like boring, earthy, beige, and gray, or something like that. And this is all what I am not. So this is everything I am really not. So I am kind of like in the mission to tell people, or maybe like show people also with the channel I have with Sabelle and everything, that being sustainable, having this kind of like conscious mindset, you can have that and wear a party dress from an ethical brand.
Hmm.
Like all these brands, there's so many brands, and here's the thing, when it gets like very opaque and you cannot, like, it's very intransparent because there's so much out there, you don't know how to look and how to search for things. But like I'm trying to show brands basically that show them that, for if you want to be sustainable, dress sustainable, right? If you want new stuff, there's a lot of really cool brands out there, like for every occasion. Like it's not that it's, and I think feel like here there is a big stigma that you would really, I don't know, like it's a little bit more negative, I
Yeah,
have the feeling.
people picture like that in their mind that
Yes.
they're going.
Like, I am wearing everything, but I mean, I'm wearing now a white t-shirt, but like everything, but this is like the mo most versatile piece I've ever had in my closet. But like, I am about color. Like, if you look at my page, like my Instagram, like there's everything about color. So I am really not the person who like, sleeps in the woods. Never have to, by the way. Never was that person. I love to be taking walks, but never would sleep in the woods. But also like dress in the sense that you can like ex and show them that you can express everything what you want, but just like dress just with different brands. It's not so, but here's the thing, right? If there is you cannot win an argument with somebody who says like basically the most easiest and convenient way of shopping will be H&M and Zara, and there's one point to it. They're they're producing so fast and they're copying so fast trends that it actually holds, right? So you may find whatever trend you're searching for if you really go on trend shopping and everything and looking that, most ethical and sustainable brands as per se shouldn't have so many collections, right? So you might not find the down jacket in neon green because it is in trend, right? You may find something similar as per coincidence because it's part of their collection, or maybe like in Alaska, in a past collection or something like that, right? So if you're only a shopper, and this is, I guess, like that's another subject now, but still it fits. If you're shopping only via trends, then I guess if you wanted the most convenient way and trendy way, then I think you and me, we cannot win this argument. I don't care about it, to be honest, because my style is completely different. I don't want to copy trends. I think it's good to know what trends like you for me trends are like inspirational things, right? It's not for me like I start and run out and never been that way, like buy the whole collection from H&M, never been that girl. For me, it's more like, oh, you can combine it this way. Oh, I didn't think about that. Oh, maybe I found something in my closet. Most probably, by the way, I will, which I combine, which is like a similar thing or so.
Right.
So, but coming back to your question, like, I think there has to be, and there has to be some work done, and I'm trying to do this with the account of Sabelle, that basically sustainability should be seen as a little bit more sexy. And like in Germany, it's not perceived as being sexy. It's as perceived as being like earthy tones and, being under the radar and like, and I'm really literally everything which I'm describing, I'm not.
Yeah,
So I'm trying to advocate for, this is a fun way of fashion to express energy, colors, moods, brands, stories, like all of this, right? But as I said, I mean, even for me, if I do my work the way I do it, it takes some time to find also these brands, right? So I understand the consumer who says, like, I type in sustainable fashion in Google, and the first things I see is Stella McCartney, Patagonia, and Pangaya, maybe, or something like that. So it's always the same thing, right? But you want to get to the point where you have this family-owned business like yours, then of course connected around the world. Then Google is SEO driven, so maybe these smaller brands you won't find them. But then thanks to social media, we're able to find these one maybe by coincidence, right? Somebody likes that, somebody shares a reel, da 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 da. So we're all grateful for this because otherwise, to be very honest, you and me most probably we wouldn't be talking today.
exactly. That's the whole point. And especially when you say about the drops. So in what
Yeah,
we're doing in Zayshin, and that's what we have planned, it is that we're gonna be having our core collection, which
yeah,
we have chosen the colors for our products very, carefully because we chose
yeah,
black and white. That's universal
yeah. No brainer. Yeah.
that. Then we have deep burgundy, we have emerald green,
Ah, yeah,
and
cool.
we have purple. Anything, like every month, like 7 drops or 10 drops every month. It's not gonna work like that because
Yeah.
that's what we are against to. even though once in a month or twice in a month or even quarterly, I was actually planning to find something unique in the industry that we can present to the people. If they want to go beyond the core collection, they can get something new or to add to their taste. So
Yeah.
that's a plan that I have in my mind, and I got a lot of, compliments about this idea, and people were saying it is very good actually, because
Yeah.
gonna be wasting. We have the core collection that people can be wearing, and it's gonna be a very good choice because everybody will be able to do that. It's unisex, men, women, and we have all the colors too. Right. So this is the thing, and at the same, I come at the same place about the Germany. You were saying that people have
Yeah.
perspective, that's a serious perspective. So, so I was actually a little bit right. They're too serious, but
Yes.
I'm just kidding. I'm just messing.
I think I'm not, the average German person. I think my parents neither, even though like, I mean, I studied in Paris, as I said, I was also in Ghana, so I've seen a little bit of the world. I'm very open-minded and so on. But my parents, they didn't, they lived in Germany. I mean, they're traveling a lot right now, but they haven't lived in a different country also, but still I was raised with the mindset to be like very open to basically anybody or anything,
Yeah.
always be very kind and all of that stuff, right? This can get you in trouble though too, by the way, if you're always this kind person and stuff like this is also is
People.
so yeah, don't get me started there. But anyways, it's better to be I'm still very proud to be on that side of the road.
Yeah.
And I'm
Because
very convinced this is, staying humble and kind is the way forward, no matter if there are people who, deceive you during the process and all of that. So
right,
I think that's called life, so it's happening.
right. I also have the same mindset, and I believe because you shared the same thing, and I think it is true. When you see different cultures, when you travel,
Yeah,
your mindset changes. You're ready to adopt new things.
it absolutely does.
You're open-minded to learn more. But when you're, at the same place for a whole of your life or the most of the time, you're not open to more things, to adopt new things.
Yeah.
Sometimes it is actually, I believe, a very good thing. Even though if you're staying at the same place, at least open-minded, see what the people are talking about and try to observe. If you have questions, just ask them.
I think it's just harder, to be honest, because if you experience messy things and situations, when you go back to your very organized, structured life, whatever that might look like for you, you remember things very vividly if you experience them.
Right.
And I believe you have more, I don't know, I think you're more kind maybe or more understanding of
It-
what it could be to be like in a troubled situation or something like that, right?
yeah, you're more ready because you're already been to the messy places.
Because you know what it comes to mind, this has nothing to do with fashion, but like when I went to Ghana, first time ever in Africa, by the way, then student, and my parents never been to Africa, so you can, think about like my parents are like, oh my goodness, and she's the white person there, as if I'm the first white person to be on this continent, right? So, and of course, I was like, yeah, I mean, to be very honest with you, I didn't have a clue of what I'm doing there, to be honest, but I was like, yeah, I'm going to Africa, and then I would, be going with a friend of mine who studied with me was actually from Congo. So
Okay.
she had a French accent because she's from Congo.
Mhm.
So, and obviously she was black. So then we went there to Ghana. And at the end of the day, so first, there's a couple of things I learned, right? Right in the beginning, when we got there, like the first night, I wanted to try, and we had actually a really nice, like a house we're also working at a bank there with
Mhm.
house and my everybody else had like one room and one separate bathroom and so on, and I wanted to try out the toilet, just if it was working. So I pressed the button. When I pressed the button, it was very humid when we got there. Like the thing completely exploded and the water just went all over. Like the complete bathroom was underwater. And I was looking at that and it was like, I don't know, like 6 p.m. or something. And I'm like, when is that next flight going back home? I was really like, I'm going to stay here for 3 months. How the hell am I going to, this is not what's up. And then I went downstairs to her and I said, like, okay, if I really need to use the toilet, I have to come to you because like my toilet's broken. She's like, what the hell did you do? We just got here. And I'm like, it was broken before. So, anyways, so it took me, 1 or 2 days to basically get like the handy person in. And you know what the guy did? So basically, they had these two things they put in together, like these Rohre, I don't know how to say in English. They put it together. And then he put, because it was like, I don't know, like it was moving so much, or I think it was like the wrong things he got. So he put them together, but it was too much space here and there. Like they were, so anyways, so
Yep.
then he put some stuff around it, which I would call, wait a second. In German, I would say Knete. I don't know how this word is. Dough, putty, dough, some dough.
Oh, okay,
That's
I got it.
got
Yeah.
some dough. Like
Yeah.
kids play with dough, right?
Right, right,
Like
right.
yeah, so he put stuff like that around.
Oh, wow.
And because it was so humid, of
Uh,
course, this never dried, right? And then he said to me, oh, whenever this moves, move this a little here and there with the dough. And you know what? He was right. And I did check every time after I used the toilet. It never broke again, but you would always have to. This is the way you handle things. So just saying, like, this is the way they handle things there. So I remember, like, when my parents told me, like, oh, we wanted to visit and da da da. And I said, you can come, but you have to stay at least 1 week. Because the thing is, what I learned from the first day onwards, so things are running here just differently. And they're fine the way they're running. Like these people live here, that's all good. But if you come, you have to have as much respect and time for they deal with things differently. And what we would call like, oh my goodness, how can you live like this? It's just the way they live. And to be honest, like the faster you adapt, the easier it will be.
right,
So, and that's why I said coming here for a weekend, don't even come because it takes it's a cultural shock, right? It takes you a bit to get it used to like if we say in Germany a bus is full, they would put 200 more people there in. I'm not kidding. Like there are people like standing next to just holding their hands and just like you know it, right? From all of these countries. It's like
right,
normal, like in Asia too, right?
exactly.
And then we talk about here like the safety measures. Like who the fuck cares? There's no safety measures. So you want to get on the bus or not?
Full of adventures over there. Yes, that's the thing I was talking about. You see those people living like that, and when we come to our country back here, and we see this thing, and we're so blessed. We know
Yeah, but
nothing.
also, wait a second. What I also learned very in the beginning that they're so joyful. They're so grateful. Like they don't live they live in worse like situations maybe or maybe like I don't know like yeah like not so regulated things and structured things like if there for example is an outage of Strom, help me say that the light is not working, the electricity, sorry. I lived in a house where we had a generator, and that was one of the houses because it was paid by the bank. Like we were very lucky, right? And
Right,
I was like, I didn't even think about when I was doing we had also a washing machine. So I used that obviously. And then, it stopped and I was like, what's going to happen? And then it's like, it doesn't matter because we have a generator, but and I was like, how do people, so that's the thing, right? So most people there don't have a washing machine. Obviously, they wash it by a hand, right?
right.
So it's just it worked, but it's not that you could see on their faces that they're like so depressed or anything, right? They have different living culture. They have living different things which they value. For example, I very valued very heavily that I could get like a fantastic mango and a fantastic pineapple for $1 every day. And they would knew me. Of course, we would actually be like in a town which was very well known to have always white people there. Apparently, a lot of houses from banks and whatever. So they're very well known. So of course, you're being the new kid on the block and there's like oh there's a new white person, okay, cool. So and then I was the one negotiating the prices for our fruits because my black friend with her French accent, they didn't take her seriously because her English had a French accent and mine had maybe a German accent by then, but it was better.
Okay.
So I remember like taking a taxi and she negotiated a really bad price. So and since then I did it because they heard from her French accent, like they were not giving her the pleasure of, we're sisters because we're black. They were basically letting her pay more because she had a French accent.
Yes.
So look at that. The white person negotiating better prices than the black person. No, it's.
Right. Oh my God, that's very cool experiences. I love to hear them.
And I actually had, now I remember that, like I made, so I visited one lady who was doing like from the African, like fabrics and all. They have these very colorful, like special kind of fabric. I don't remember what it's called, but I have these very colorful things and prints. And I went to a lady who made me a dress. And then I went to, so that one, I paid for it and everything. But then I had, which was so cool. I was there like for 3 months, and I don't remember the. We visited a couple of clients from the bank
Okay.
when we were working there, and I I remember that a lady came also to basically see how she wanted to measure me and so on, and she didn't speak a word in English, so we were really in rural Accra here, like 1.5 hours from Accra, somewhere where, they only would, well, I had usually like two or three people with me,
Mhm.
and we would visit clients who were in arrears, actually,
Oh,
who were
wow.
like late in payments. And we would ask them like how they're doing and that they should come to the bank and basically, but we're talking about arrears like, I don't know, like $28, $30. And then you drive 1.5 hours in one direction, 1.5 hours back. But this is kind of like, very interesting job, to be honest. But then one lady was so they had it, I don't remember the enterprise, like a kiosk or something, and she wanted to measure me, and after 3 weeks they would send me and give me, so she made me a dress because she liked me so much,
Okay.
and we could never exchange a word. She just saw me, and they had these translators with me, of course, from the bank, and I still have that dress,
Wow.
and it's so
How many
cool.
years she you
That's a good question. So I think it should be now 13 years,
wow,
12 or 13 years. Yeah, have it.
that's so cool.
It
There's
is cool. Yeah.
you wear that
I was
sometime?
very, like, I was very honored, to be honest, like, because, I mean, for me, it was just, I did an internship there. I was in it's not in high school. I studied. And because I was from the bank, sometimes they actually even asked me if they can get a loan. And I was not in a position. I was a student, dude. Like, I cannot give you a loan. Like, but of course, they were like, there's this, I guess, perceived picture of, a privileged white person coming to the country working for a bank, and then I get that, right?
Right.
But I mean, I was, when I told them like I was a student, like
Yep.
I'm not.
These kind of things, especially in those countries where they don't have much, so they expect.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
wow, that's very cool. And
yeah, yeah,
I
yeah,
when you get that dress, I wanted to see how was the design and all that.
yeah.
So
I can bring it. I can bring it. Yeah,
uh,
I'm not sure if I can still fit in, but I can bring it.
I'm sure you will. In winters, not in summers, because as you said, we open up in summers. So
Yeah, yeah, that might be a problem.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
And that I would, by the way, also think, that's kind of like the definition of sustain. I don't know if I would call this ethical, because the thing is, I didn't even pay for it, so it was a present, but it's like a very sustainable, you know,
exactly.
uh clothing piece she did, right? So, and that's kind of like, also, I mean, back in the day I didn't think about it, but it's kind of like a bespoke dress. Nobody ever, or I never paid for, I never let it made have that somebody made me a bespoke dress.
Right.
And
So
then I come here to Ghana, and then somebody offered and give it to me for free. It's like crazy, right?
exactly. So this is a thing that, I didn't believe before that we should be there's a story behind of every piece we make.
Yeah.
So I couldn't understand in the beginning what that does that mean when you say there's a story behind. Because in fast fashion, we're making like tons of clothes. There's no story behind. We're just sending out the orders and they're making it working like robot and making the pieces. But when you have, support slow fashion or you keep or buy or get something like this, there's a story behind, a beautiful story behind.
Yeah.
So tell to the other person or whenever we wear that clothes, so we can remember that, we can feel that feel, how it feels like, or the background.
Yeah.
I think this is a very good thing that
And the story also lives on, by the way, right?
that
Because if you buy something, then you create a new story, right? So the garment, so the story until the garment is formed is one part, but the other story is like what you are going to form when you are going to wear it, right? Where do you
Right.
want to take it? To what occasion you're going to wear it? How do you feel in it?
Right. Right. So that is correct. Absolutely.
And
I
that is also, I think it's a very good reason in forming, or what's important in forming also like a community, right? Of people who are like-minded in slow fashion, who
right.
say like, I've ordered from this brand or I had this brand and what did it do to me? Why is it important to me? Usually it's not important to you, usually, because it's a high price point or it might be a cool design if it stands out. It might be that. Might be that it's versatile enough, but most probably, in most of the cases, it's because we wear something and we usually feel special in it. It can be something very easy, it can be something completely dressed up,
Right.
very different things, but basically it comes to life with you in it. And that's the thing, if I think about like luxury fashion or like higher end fashion, this is always what they've always sold emotions. I don't remember who said that, but somebody said at some point in time, we are not selling clothes, we are selling emotions.
Right.
And it's true because what I told you in the beginning of our first session, when I said like, I was so deceived that, I spent this amount of time and I went to Zara and had to queue and then I washed it and I couldn't even wear this t-shirt, right? All of this was getting more and more and more. I was more deceived every night. If I think about it, more disappointed about it.
Right.
But the thing is, if you go to, I don't know, I'm saying something now, Jill Sander here in Frankfurt, I've had good experiences with them. That's why I'm stating them. So Jill Zander itself, from the kind of clothes they make, usually makes things which are like very versatile. They have a certain kind of style. It's not everybody's style, I get that, but it's like things which you would wear for a long time. So it's not really trendy stuff. I wouldn't call this trendy. Like I have had one overshirt from them also now for 40 years or so, but I see it, it's like cream colored. I can wear it to anything, right? I don't even have to think about like it's very easy to, and it's kind of like, you get in there, they're like basically younger salespersons there. It's not, as hierarchic or like boring, conservative. It's more, like it's easier, right?
Makes
So,
sense.
and all of this creates this like feeling that it's a nice way of being there, even if you don't purchase something, just to, scroll around and like look at things and I don't know. And I think the very big point in like slow fashion and the smaller firms we go is exactly these things which should be marketed more. So fashion brands which have a shop and you can go, that's one thing, right? That's one experience. But even, for example, little things like if you have a good website and you have maybe questions or something, and then you would ask I don't know, like about sizing or something, right? And you know that the brand would answer in like 2 or 3 hours. Like it's a very like personal message, like, and you can do that, of course, if it's like a smaller thing and everything. But to me, it makes a big difference. Like
That
I was couple of weeks ago, I stumbled into actually one shop in Frankfurt. I usually like I don't shop a lot, as you know, because I'm very conscious. So, anyways, and the things I buy, it doesn't really hold if it's only beautiful. If it's only beautiful, I'm not gonna, like 5 years ago, I would totally have bought it, but I wouldn't now for obvious reasons. But I stumbled into a brand where basically I thought that, the window front looked kind of weird. And it looked weird because the things which were on the wall on the right side, they didn't really fit to what was like in the middle. Like really not. Like the opposite of, a luxury high fashion window where you see like, oh, this is nicely made. And but here's also the thing. I usually pass these fronts thinking like, oh, this is so nice, but nothing really gets my attention. There's not this one thing. So it just looks so nice at Louis V that I just, pass it. I look at it and then I just pass. This one I stopped because it was weird. Like there were good things on the wall. I don't remember what really caught my eye. Then there were clothes which clearly didn't fit to whatever was on that wall. This was from a I was like, who is this person? And then, I went in and obviously then the girl told me like, yeah, this is a space, a pop-up space for different kind of designers. That makes sense. So on the right side, there was a designer, in the middle was a designer, and on the lower ground here for jewelry was also a designer, and they were all completely different persons. So that's why the concept, putting things together, which actually made me stop and which made me think about it. Then I went inside and I got to go around. Of course, we said like, yeah, these are all designers from Frankfurt, around Frankfurt, from Offenbach, which is not far here. And I bought two pieces and actually decided then later on, you know what, I'm gonna look for these people on Instagram, send them a message and ask for like, hey, you're around here. I'm Sabelle. I'm trying to increase transparency in sustainable fashion. I bought a piece of you. It's cool. Can we have a coffee? And I met with both of these girls for coffee. One of them has actually not really far from here, like really, if you go with the bike, like 4 minutes or something from here, her shop. And this was just so nice to connect with the people who actually made the garment. And one of the garments actually it's actually a man's shirt. For me, it's now an overshirt. I really like it. And I told her like it's my shirt. I didn't buy it for my boyfriend. So, and I told her like it's so cool, it's so versatile. I really like these things. And then it had like a little icon, like a little label said like this piece is uniquely made for you. And for me, it was like, oh, so nice.
Yeah,
Because for me, these things matter so much, and I see them and I see like the difference, because it's not anymore about, and I get that when you're a student and you're tight on a budget, I get that you don't have this kind of money. I get all these things, right? I've been there. But like this, I think if I think about how much I value this right now, I think it will only grow in the future as much as I grow older, right?
right.
And I told her that. Like I told her like this really that made it this little thing,
Mhm.
which most people would not maybe even notice. Like this really made a difference to me.
Exactly. So that made a lot of sense, especially when we do, small batches. So that give us more flexibility to make it customized or, focus on the customers too.
Yeah.
There.
Yeah.
So we can be more responsible and, we can be more conscious about that as a brand. And as a
Yeah.
they're getting the best product they can use for years to come. This is a great deal for both of us.
Yes. Yes. So
So
how do you decide on your collections per how many collections per year do you have? Or it's not set in stone yet?
Before answering, let me answer that question. I have a question. Do you
Ah,
hear
okay.
background noises?
What?
Do you hear any background noises from my side?
No.
No? Okay. Okay, my mic is ready.
Somebody vacuum cleaning right now?
No, they're starting in the kitchen. I'm sitting in the living room. So I just wanted to make
Okay.
sure so there's no noise. Okay. So back to your question. So as I said before, we'll be having our core collection because that's the collection that as a daily need. The casual wear is like you wear a t-shirt, you wear a crop top, you wear a pant, or you wear a hoodie, or you wear a cap, you go outside. So that's the main thing that should be sustainable at first place. So that
Yep.
what it is right now. And by the time maybe monthly or by quarterly, we'll be launching a few pieces that gonna be have some unique taste with a cultural merge of all three cultures like Pakistan, Thailand, and US. I'm trying to get that and make it sustainable with a unique piece. If you wanted to get something new, or if some people are like they are taking good care of the clothes. They're, doing everything right, but they want feel or they want something new too in their taste. So they can try that. So
Mm-hmm.
I believe Ashley, this is a very great idea. I actually worked on this and get some feedback from our customers because they're the hero. Without
Yeah.
customers, without the people who are aware of what we are doing, we are nothing. As you said before, if it's not happening, we shouldn't be talking right now.
Yes.
So exactly, that's the thing. So our customers are the hero. The people, you, me, and the other people are human beings. Everybody's, the same. And these is the conscious choices that we should be making. So this is just simple thing that we'll be doing with our brand. And back to the same thing. If you have something, don't buy. Use your own clothes first, as long as you can. So yeah.
You know what you also cure with this? the usually, and we can talk about, I think I could talk about this hours, but the usual perception that one has nothing to wear. Because if every time you're right before a purchase would say, hey, stop, wait a second, I'm going to look into my closet, I'm guessing, I don't know, I'm saying something, maybe 70%. I don't know, you can say something else, but 70%, I would say, of the people don't know of every piece of clothing they have in their closet. Maybe it's even more, I don't know. But
Exactly. I totally agree with you. But you know what I think, correct me if I'm wrong. I think that the people who say I have nothing to wear, their means is whatever the occasion they're going to, they have nothing to wear according to that, I believe.
yeah,
Okay. So that's where the timeless designs come in. Because if you have something timeless, if you have like a plain t-shirt like yours you're wearing, you can just match it with your jeans, or you can match it with your skirt, or you can, just mix up with the other outfits and you can make one. But if you're something like with the graphic tees or with the logos, with the brand names, you cannot, wear something casual over that place. So I think that's one of the things that we should be, when we're buying it, we should be conscious that whatever we're buying, it should be timeless. So we can wear it at any occasion almost. So yeah.
yeah.